started off as a promo girl, holding little shots and passing them out. And he was like, this girl's a go-getter. She shows up on time. I'm going to give her a job at Justin's. So then worked at Justin's. And then as they were launching Nuvo, that's when he was like, I got something else for you. And that just like, that opened me up. I was out like at the nightclubs. I was started off as a promo model. And then again, like just showing how like I wanted to get things done. What do we got to do next? That led me into management.
So when you speak about Nuvo, we're talking about the liquor, the brand.
The brand, yeah.
Just for those who
aren't familiar. All the music videos.
A pink bottle.
The pink bottle. Fat Joe, Fab, Wale, all those guys were kind of marketing the product. And so there would be times where John would call me and be like, you got to go on set and make sure the bottles turn the right way and stuff.
So the label's facing the right direction. Okay.
So I was like doing the product placement and just kind of just being on set and being like in the mix of things, which is really cool. Oh, absolutely loved it. I
can tell you have a huge smile on your face.
Because that, like, Nuvo and everybody who knows me, and back in New York, they all know, like, some people call me Nuvo D.
Oh, really? Hey.
But they would know me to be out, and I would always be professional. Like,
Level Up, where we sit down with highly regarded entrepreneurs and they teach you the gems towards leveling up in your career. I'm your host, OC, and today I'm joined by Danielle Hodge.
Hey.
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So it wouldn't have it any other way. So why don't you start by kind of telling us a little bit about yourself, like, you know, where you grew up?
Well, I grew up in Altamont Springs, actually not too far from here. And went to high school there and graduated and moved off to New York.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How was the New York experience?
Amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah. I spent my adult years in New York and kind of feel like that was like my battleground and like instead of college, like that was my school.
Really? So you feel like you learned a lot just like working?
I learned a lot, yeah. I did 2 semesters in college and then I was like, F this. I want to, you know,
okay.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I actually originally wanted to get into acting. So that's why I left Orlando. And actually there's a lot of productions going on in Orlando, surprisingly, now. So I left, went to New York to dive into acting, and I felt like college was in the way of that.
Yeah. So it was kind of like holding you back from pursuing a career?
Yeah, I was holding back. And I still didn't know what I wanted to do aside from acting. I was still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
And then just got a bunch of really cool jobs while I was living in New York.
So when you decided, I guess at some point in time in your life, you decided this isn't the route that I'm going to do, what do you think was like that pivotal moment that you were like, maybe this is not what I want to focus on, and then other opportunities started coming about?
It was straight up me being in class and being like, I'm not feeling it.
Okay.
For real, I was like, I'm not feeling it. I can't figure out what I want to do. I originally was signed up. See, it just shows you I'm supposed to be in school.
Hey.
Majored in.
Okay.
Multimedia video communications, because I was like, maybe radio would be something that I could dip into. But then I was like, yo, Angie Martinez and you know, Wendy Williams and Char, they were all on the radio, and I was like, there's no way.
They were
not
dominating.
Really. Yeah, they were dominating.
Yeah,
they were dominating, and so I just really was just trying to figure it out. Really, it was just trying to figure out what my route would be, and thank goodness I had the support of my mom to help me, because she's a registered nurse, so she took a nursing assignment to help me get settled in New York.
Oh, wow.
Because they were paying more for nurses at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Or always up north, always paying more.
Yeah, you get paid more.
So yeah, she helped me get settled in and figure things out. So.
Okay. So I know you mentioned like production and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So how did you end up tapping into that? I don't want to kind of jump the gun, but I know that you've done a lot as far as in like producing for like major shows.
Not necessarily producing. We are jumping a little bit over my career, but on the path of it, before I left to move back to Orlando, I worked in television, and I really got that job just from like moving and shaking in New York and meeting people and them getting to know me. And
networking?
Yeah, networking, you know, and just being outgoing and not you know, scared to walk up to people and just talk to them in the nightclub, and just being friendly, which in New York was like a little standoffish.
It is, because everybody's like, it's so fast paced, so it's kind of like, you know, to slow down and live in the moment is really kind of rare.
Yeah, I was living in it.
Okay.
I was living in the moment when I was in New York, because I was just so curious and like wanting to, like, I don't know, meet and know anybody and everybody. That would just be cool. I just knew networking was like the thing. Yeah, well, and I was good at it.
I mean, it still is.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to networking, where do you feel like were like the most important areas? Because I know when you think networking, people think, well, how do I network? Do I go to business events? Do I go to cafes where like people are working? Yeah. Is it the club scene? Where do you feel like you were most progressive in meeting individuals?
Well, at the time for me, it was any and everywhere. It didn't matter where I was. Just I wanted to know what people did. You were open to just like learning about them, and not just to, I guess, kind of be all up in their business, but also to be like, how can I help you? Because if I knew what they did, and if they had struggles, I always felt like I wanted to be like, whoa, let's we'll figure out this problem. Like, you know, you can get through it, or whatever it is you want to do, it could be done. Okay. I always have like that, you know, encouragement, like empowerment is like within me. So yeah, I think it's just about just talking to people and just getting to know who they are, know about them, and what they want to do. I think it's really important to know what their goals are and how you can help them. How you can assist them. Yeah. So I know that so when you say networking, what do you feel like was like the first major opportunity that presented itself to you from like networking? Yeah. Oh yeah, that would definitely be, and that we can roll it back. Back at tracks, because while I was starting to go on auditions, and I picked up a job working at a photography studio. Okay. And that's kind of where I was learning about lighting and holding the reflectors for the photographer, and booking models for shoots. Okay. And just kind of like lightly getting my foot in the door to that's like a little bit of the production side. But I also, you know, like I was a waitress at Justin's. Okay. So that shimmied me into like being in the, you know, the industry. Well, actually I got that job because I was out at a nightclub and met my mentor. Okay. My mentor, John Vasquez, he was the general manager at Justin's at the time. And they were about to launch Nuvo. And he was like, yeah. I was working with another brand with him, a rum brand, and he saw how I worked and how I was out networking, and like started off as a promo girl, holding little shots and passing them out, and he was like, this girl's a go-getter, she shows up on time, I'm gonna give her a job at Justin's. So then worked at Justin's, and then as they were launching Nuvo, that's when he was like, I got something else for you. And that just like, that opened me up. I was out like at the nightclubs, I was started off as a promo model, and then again, like just showing how like I wanted to get things done. What do we got to do next? That led me into management. So when you speak about Nuvo, we're talking about the liquor, the brand. Okay. Yeah. Just for those who are all the music videos. The pink bottle. Fat Joe, Fab, Wale, all those guys were kind of marketing the product. Yeah. And so there would be times where John would call me and be like, you got to go on set and make sure the bottles turn the right way and stuff. So the label's facing the right direction. Okay. So I was like doing the product placement and just kind of just being on set and being like in the mix of things, which is really cool. Oh, absolutely loved it. I can tell you have a huge smile on your face. Because that, like, Nuvo and everybody who knows me, and back in New York, they all know, like, some people call me Nuvo D. Oh, really? But they would know me to be out, and I would always be professional. Like, you know, girls are out there wilding out, and I'm just trying to get money, you know? And that's what a lot of people knew when I was in New York. I was just making sure that I was like, I think that this is it. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. I don't really know what to call what this is yet, but because he, you know, John allowed me to give myself my own title. Oh wow. He was like, what do you want to call yourself? It's major when somebody gives you that much power, because it's like, now you have to really think about it. Like, And so I just became the Northeast marketing manager and kind of like a little bit more than that, but I just gave myself that title.
Yeah.
So Nouveau really set me off. It changed my life. Working with them. So
you mentioned a couple key points. You mentioned that you were always on time.
Yep.
That you were always professional.
Yep.
What else do you feel like is like something that is so important as an entrepreneur to setting the pace for yourself? Because a lot of the times we're so in the moment, we're not thinking about the impression that we're leaving on those around me, and oftentimes that impression is what can either open doors or close doors for us.
Are you referring to when it comes to networking or just in general as an entrepreneur?
I feel like in general as an entrepreneur, because in networking, you're presenting yourself as your best self ultimately. Hopefully.
I think loyalty is like huge. I feel like when people are working with you, when it comes to paying people, you need to be loyal. When it comes to connecting and knowing their business and knowing when not to tell their business because they're confiding in you, be loyal. And I think that just building a bond and people knowing that you're a good person is important.
All right. So during the timeline with you working with Nouveau, I know you were really busy. How did you find the balance between working with Nouveau and your personal life?
Giggles. No, first of all, personal life, if it came to dating, it was really hard to do in New York. Yeah. Especially with me being out in the nightlife and like its circle being so small and me being so professional. I didn't want to mix anything up, and I always wanted to just be a boss. Okay. It was hard to date, and so personal life was just like, it was there, but it wasn't. I was always quiet if I was dating somebody, and like, but for the most part, I was a workaholic. Okay. And I think now I've kind of calmed down and been like, all right, now I need a man. But before I was like, I'm good. I don't really need one.
So you're single?
So I'm single. I'm single. I'm single.
I ain't messing with you.
Just saying.
So after Nouveau, what was next?
After Nouveau, like I said, that was my base. I was working Nouveau at night, liquor stores in the day, and then I started working with other marketing companies, just managing their brands. Okay. For example, Pop Chips was one, and I would have to like go to the Hamptons, set up the tent,
Pop Chips?
Pop Chips.
The chips?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I had to like go. That's just one, but there was many. There was a lot of different brands. And I would just basically be the brand manager for those brands. So I was just busy.
So acquiring those kind of jobs, what do you feel like it was that separated you from other individuals who were trying to, because I know like, as somebody that does branding and marketing, acquiring major accounts like that is like ideal, but it's always like, how do I get these type of clients? Like, how do I tap into that market? So how do you feel like that came about for you?
Personality. I'm not trying to like, toot my horn, but I'm just saying like, for real, nobody wants to work with anybody that's shitty. Yeah. Straight up. Like, they just don't. So
you gotta be likable.
Yeah, you gotta be likable, and you gotta connect with people. And that really is like the way things are now. Yeah. Almost like you don't, a lot of times for cool jobs, have to dress up. Dressing up is scary to a lot of businesses. They're like, just come casual. We want to get to know you. Yeah. It's moved, the transition is now, who is this person?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Not who you appear to be.
Right. Are you likable? And if you're likable, then most times you can work well together and figure things out. Yeah. That's usually how it goes.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Be cool. Just be cool.
So what do you feel like were the most essential steps that you took personally throughout leveling up in your career? Because we see you went from pursuing your career as an actor to then working, I know you said you were working in different areas. Yep. Then you did Nouveau, and then you're working with these major brands as far as in helping with marketing. Yeah. What do you feel like was that major area where you grew?
Nouveau grew me up. Like, for real. It made me grow up. It really did.
And how so?
It made me grow up because it just, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Like, it put me in a position to where I could either sink or swim.
You either had to get it together or they was going to replace you.
Not really. It was never that.
Okay.
It was just you could mess up this opportunity and be all over the place and wild, and people know you for being wild, and you don't get your job done, you're not on time, your setup is ridiculous. You serving hot nouveau when it should be chilled. Where I would be like so ahead of myself, like early, making sure stuff's chilled, it looked good. I knew the managers at the venues. I was talking to them, even like outside of working, keeping it cool with them, and building those relationships. And it was always about building. So
relationships.
Yeah, Nouveau like really like helped me grow up. And then after working with Nouveau, that's when I dipped into the production side. And with Nouveau, they had sold back to the distributor. They sold back to Diageo, which meant I was out of a job because I worked directly with the brand. And they sold it, so I was like, you gotta go, which was cool because they took care of me, and I learned so much, and it was like school for me. So just from being out and about, a friend of mine was like, I'm about to go work on the show, and like, I know you're not starstruck, and like, you'll keep it together, like, come on the show with me, my friend Heather. And that was it. So I got back. What show was this? So I was on Fox Sports 1. Regis Philbin was the host. R.I.P. Regis. And I was basically a talent booker and a handler. So I would help the booking team book like all the guests that came on. So I got to meet Mike Tyson and Serena, like you meet all the A-listers. But being their handler when they were on set and the green room, and that was a cool experience in itself. But after all of that, I was like, I'm burnt out. I need a break.
Okay.
And that's how I ended up back in Orlando.
Also, so that's why you were like, okay, this is New York.
Yeah, because Orlando. I felt like I had gotten everything I needed, and I felt like I could do whatever I wanted to do from anywhere, just from what I had built for myself in New York. And so my mom was like, why don't you just come back home? Like, you're like, oh, it's cool.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, all right. So, and rent became too expensive. It was too cold, and I was tired of it.
Yeah, New York is up there.
Yeah, it's out there. So it was the best decision I think I could have made.
So some of the like key takeaways I'm getting from you is like the major importance of who you know and networking, in addition to self-presentation.
Yeah.
Because that could take you into doors that a degree necessarily can't.
It's true.
I feel like nowadays, when it comes to schooling, degrees, it's a common misconception that if you don't have a bachelor's degree in branding and marketing, you won't get an account, like a major account.
Yeah.
But you've definitely open up that doorway to where you can say, you don't need that. What you need is
confidence.
There we go.
You need confidence that you can kind of manage and direct your own life. Yeah. You need confidence to know that you might fail, or you might move out of the city, and because you don't know what to do with your life. That's cool. Move back, or just you can't be scared to fail. You can't be scared to mess up. You gotta mess up, and then because you've been so cool, when you mess up, you got that support around you that you can like hit up. That'll keep you like on the right track. It's really important.
I agree.
Yeah.
So now you're back in Orlando, and your current venture, which I love. Let's talk a little bit more about that.
Alma Ocean, yeah. So Alma Ocean came about during COVID, and previously before COVID happened in Orlando, I was traveling on a tour and I was doing logistics and basically producing events. So I would be living out of my suitcase like 8 months out of the year.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Again, while I'm still single, but as no longer. So I was doing logistics, event production, and events came to a halt.
Yeah,
because of COVID, and I had to be still. And I was like, oh shoot. I'm so used to creating experiences for people and being out and about. And
I can relate.
Yeah.
Then it's like,
you can totally
what
relate.
can I do now? Like, I'm used to bringing people together, and we can't even leave the house.
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
Yeah, so I think that moment of me being still and then having to move back again to my mom's house, there came a point where I was like, am I getting depressed?
Oh, yeah. Because
I was looking for work online. Florida's unemployment was all jacked up. So you couldn't even, the website was all jacked up. And I was looking online to try to find jobs and figure out, like, what can I do digitally to make money, because I've always been out and about. And my mom has a really nice pool in her backyard. She's been in that house for 30 plus years.
Okay. Stability.
Yeah. Yeah. Mid-class neighborhood. Did well, and worked hard for it. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go take a swim. But then I thought, like, dang, I kind of want like a float to go in the pool. So when I went back online and I was like, I don't even care what's going on, this is what I'm gonna do. I don't know if Amazon's gonna deliver it the same day, but we can't go out.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna at least look for one, go in the pool today, and maybe I'll get it in like a day or two. And I start looking online and I'm like, ain't no black people. Like, I was like, where are black people at? Like, it blew my mind a little bit, yes, and then no, because there's a stereotype, black people don't swim, they don't get in the water. So maybe that's why we're not advertised on water products. But then I thought, but we do go by the water. We do swim. There's a lot of times where we're halfway in the water. We're not all the way in. Exactly. And with my entrepreneur mind, I'm like, this is something. So I start Googling a bunch of stuff, like black-owned pool inflatable companies, nothing. Black-owned water accessories, swimsuits, you know, everybody's doing that.
Basics.
And I was like, there's no culture in the inflatable industry, so I'm gonna hit that up. Okay. So I had a printer, and I just started printing out like designs that I found on Shutterstock. And like I was just cutting out shapes and stuff, and I drew like little dolls, and I put it on a poster board, and I'm like, oh shit, this is fire. Yeah. Like, I'm onto something. And that's it. I didn't stop. Like, each day was something, trying to find a manufacturer, trying to figure out
COVID tapped into that inner entrepreneur, that inner branding and marketing executive that you've been kind of using to help other brands build themselves, and now you're able to apply it to your baby.
Exactly.
So I know you're currently, you're a startup. Or you're in
I'm a startup. This all started in June, but I really let the world know about it and put a post up in September 2020. Okay. But I did everything first to secure it. Like, I was like, let me trademark, do a little patent pending on the design.
So you got everything's in place.
Everything in place, because I knew I'd never seen what I was doing before.
How was that process, as far as I'm like, you know, when did you realize, okay, I'm onto something, let me trademark my ideas and let me file for this patent? When was that? When did you come to that realization?
It was almost like right away. I knew I had to do that, but I knew it was costly. Yeah. So that's why, you know, COVID's good and bad, but those PPP loans was rolling. Okay. And so I took advantage. Yeah. And that all the funding I took was to secure and start doing designs.
Investing in yourself.
Yeah, and start investing. And so, like, that money's gone now. But yeah, I needed to do it to make sure if I launched that I was okay and secure. So it was about me taking advantage of, like, what was around me. You know, it's hard for Black people a lot of times to access that funding. Yeah, you know, for our businesses, it's a struggle. And so, yeah, I just had to
So when it came to, like, crowdfunding, when did you think, maybe this is an idea, maybe I could get other individuals to support and invest in my idea?
Yeah, that was kind of where the frustration came in again, because I started launching it, and then I started getting frustrated because I was like, it's just me alone. I need to get more funding, and I would just start talking to people. That's when I started saying, hey, I would call my homeboy Swift every day and be like, yo, this is what I'm working on, I'm struggling, da-da-da, and just from you talking to other people about what you're doing, and letting them know kind of what you're looking for, will have them start thinking about like how I can help you.
Yeah.
So my boy Swift introduced me to a young lady named Brittany, who was like, you need to crowdfund. You should try iFund Women. Like I did it. You should try it.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I got on there, figured out how to do it, set up my page, did a video. And then
your branding is on point, by the way.
Ooh,
I'm loving all the imagery, the models. Like, oh my gosh! Like I've seen like the little videos that you post.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm tuned into the creative side, and what I will say is tough is like everybody knows their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
When it comes to like operations, not to say that I can't do it, but there's just so many angles of different areas to handle.
A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we try to take everything on.
Yeah.
And just because, and this is something that I've learned, myself, is just because you can do everything doesn't mean you have to.
Right.
So then it's more so about outsourcing or finding the right people to bring on your team to help complement you. Like you said, being able to pinpoint your strengths and weaknesses is actually a strength in itself.
Right.
Because a lot of people can't.
Yeah.
So the fact that you are able to say, I know what I'm strong at, and I know what, may not be my strongest suits, that's definitely something that changes the game for you as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You do have to tap into that and recognize it, otherwise you will burn yourself out.
You will try to do everything.
Yeah, so...
which is women we typically tend to do in general. We're like, we got
they
this.
Don't be mad at you. You better cut that out.
What you mean?
No, it's true.
I feel
our
like a lot of
instinct,
times,
our instinct is to take on a lot and manage a lot.
To be caretakers and providers.
You're right, absolutely right. And so, yeah, I had to like take a step back and be like, girl, you gonna burn yourself out. Stop. Ask for help. And that's why I just keep talking. You have to edit that. You may edit.
Yes. I must with you say. So, with the crowdfunding, how is that going right now?
I need your money. No, I was like, I do though. Seriously. It's going good. At the beginning, I actually launched it the day before we found out Joe Biden and Kamala were in, and people were like, "You want to do that? Like everybody's gonna be talking about the election and stuff." And I was like, "I don't care."
Yeah.
Because I believe that Blackness is gonna continue to be uplifted, and I need to just go ahead and launch. So in November, I launched. We're in April soon, and I'm up to almost $7,500 raised, which is good. That means
that's really good.
I've got some people who are interested.
Absolutely.
And my goal is to reach 20,000, and that just will help me get things going, like get the inventory and put some money into marketing and a little bit of a team, and then it's gonna be gone again. But
it's all an investment.
It's all an investment.
When your brand, does take off and you are selling products, you'll see all of that back. Yeah. I feel like you'll go very far.
I feel it too.
You feel?
I do. I really do. Like I know I'm onto something. Sometimes I'm like, do you know what you created, girl? Because there's no turning back for me. Like there's no turning back. You just got to keep going.
Yeah, you
through
got
the obstacles and stuff. So, yeah.
I know we spoke about the crowdfunding, and I know you're currently working with iFund Women. How's the experience been?
It's been really good. There's other crowdfunding platforms out there, but iFund Women they're super supportive. They'll let you extend your campaign, which is great.
So like if you don't meet a goal, you can extend it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which takes the pressure off you and lets you keep pushing out content.
Yeah.
And bringing people in. So it's been really great. A lot of support. And so I recommend anybody. iFund Women is a great spot to go crowdfund.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how are you making progress towards your goal?
Well, I may have secured some funding, and so that will get me started with things.
Okay.
And I've created a schedule for myself so that I can not get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Actually put things in the Google Calendar and
That's important.
check it every morning and see what do I need to do next. because if you're all over the place, you won't get anything done.
No, you won't.
I had to learn the hard way. So.
Yeah, having a schedule, sticking to it, setting to-do lists daily.
Yep.
It's important.
It's very important. So, yeah, it's been helpful.
So let's talk about like the lasting impression that you want your products to leave with an individual.
Well, number one, I'm excited for Alma Ocean to be like on the store shelves.
Yeah, I see it coming soon.
You know, like
Target. Are you looking for those type of?
Yes, Target. I've actually spoke with them a few times, but they would like me to have sales. So
okay, which is understandable.
Understandable. Yeah. They want to make sure there's a market before they put in a big order.
Okay.
And so that's just making me work harder and smarter and staying on track to figuring out how to get those sales before I reapproach them.
Okay.
And I want people to know, like, yo, we've arrived, like in the water space. And I'm like a black mermaid, so I'm advocating for women, black women, to get in the water more and live a little. Yeah. There's so many hair care products out there now. Just do a deep conditioner, you'll be fine. You'll figure it out, you know. But embrace the water space a lot more, because we've like kind of been neglected from being in that space. The cool thing is, as I design my website, I want to make sure I have swimming resources, because I know a lot of times people are saying that they can't swim. Black people are saying they can't, you know, get in the water because they're not comfortable. And I think just being able to have those resources to where you can at least tread in the water and feel comfortable. I want people to like be at a pool party and feel okay being at the edge of the pool.
So like resources where it can connect individuals with like
swimming coaches
in their community.
Swimming coaches in their community, or on, you know, on the social media, connecting them, or swimming schools.
I love it.
It's really important. So. Yeah, I want people to feel elevated.
That's so awesome. Have you explored different ways to kind of do product placement in the community? Yeah,
you know, it's funny you say that, because as much as I've watched a lot of hip-hop videos, there's a lot of inflatables in the hip-hop videos. So
especially the summertime fun videos.
Hot girl shit.
The first thing I think about is like Ja Rule, Ashanti. Yeah. Because they always were doing videos where
Beyonce,
like poolside.
Nicki Minaj always, like, it's so crazy how inflatables are in the culture, like visually when it comes to videos.
But
so
no one in our culture is, well, no one was. Yeah. But now we have you opening that doorway, basically like treading into an unmarked territory of pool supplies. I love it.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell our viewers and everybody kind of tuning in, like, where they can find you if they're looking to come on board, maybe somebody's interested in investing.
Well, of course, social media, I am always, you could DM me, it's _ Alma Ocean. Reach out to me, I will get back to you.
She will.
I will, because so I'm active on social media, reach out to me. Also through the website, www.alma. Do people say www anymore?
It's okay. Go
almaocean.co. And then also my crowdfunding, the I Fund Women / Alma Ocean. But all of that you can find just from going onto my Instagram page, the _ Alma Ocean.
And it'll be right underneath this video. So if you look right below, after you subscribe, you'll see all the information. So I want to thank you so much for coming out, dropping all these gems on us, you know, sharing your experience, your personal journey, because you are an amazing individual. Like, you are a very amazing woman. You've done a lot, and I see you going really far. So I'm blessed to have caught you now before you start charging $1 million for a sit down.
Call me then. I won't change. Still the same.
I got you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Level Up with OC, and we're signing out.
Bye.